Hello, people. My name is ItzArya, and I just wanted to go live to say that I think it's completely unfair that YouTube would strike my channel for dashing a cup of water in people's faces. I've done plenty of pranks over the years where I've done stuff like build explosives and nobody has cared. I even had those videos monetized. But why now, when people complaining and stuff, do I get a strike for being too offensive? It's not right. Why did Logan Paul not even get a strike, but me, who just pretends to throw water, gets my video deleted? I blame the media because they have nothing else to talk about. And I clearly have the most to say on all of the topics, and I'm a funny comedian. That's why I harass people to become popular. Only old, boring people that understand what I do. I'm just a funny guy making funny videos for kids, and nobody got hurt, so why should I lose my job? What? Not a bit. Okay, that was my impression of ItzArya. Now, guys, I went earlier today talking about a prank that a UK prankster called ItzArya on YouTube, his real name is Arya Masala, did, wherein he stalked people in the city of London and took a cup of water and a bottle of water and threw it into unsuspecting people's faces. Now, there's been a rise of acid attacks in England over the past couple of years. There's been 400 in the last year and a half. So that's an average of about 2 acid attacks a day. Acid attacks are acts of terror. They are not only physiologically harmful, but they are also psychologically scarring, which means they are amongst the most heinous of crimes that you can commit against an individual. And to make light of such an occurrence is completely irresponsible on a platform such as YouTube, especially if your audience is young children. Now, luckily, YouTube did the right thing, and they removed Arya's video, which was throwing the cup of water, as I said before, on unsuspecting people's faces who had not consented to be part of such a prank or to be filmed being victimized by such a prank. And now he has a community guidelines strike, and probably his entire channel is being evaluated against YouTube's ever-evolving community guidelines. Now, since I posted my video earlier, what I was imitating at the outset of this video was Arya's filmed response, or his vlogged response to getting a community guideline strike for bullying and harassment. And Arya really had nothing to say and pretty much said that he was innocent and it was only the result of old, boring people complaining and the media creating a story out of nothing that he was given a strike, when really that is absolutely not true. He also claimed ignorance about YouTube's community guidelines, but it's every creator's responsibility to stay educated about YouTube's community guidelines. And it's almost common sense that if you're going to do things that could hurt other people, or that's walking the thin line between doing something inappropriate and doing something that's just comedic, you should be prepared that you might be given a strike. And you know what you're doing when you build a prank channel. The reason why prank channels function is because you're doing things that are either against the law or socially transgressive that other people won't and can't do. And so people will watch these videos precisely because they're never going to see anything like this happen in real life. And primarily it's children, as I said in my previous video, who find this type of content entertaining because their brains aren't fully formed and they don't completely understand the long-term consequences of doing harmful and dangerous things to themselves and other people. Of course, my video from earlier where I was discussing the prank video that had been taken down has a lot of dislikes from Arya's fandom, and that's not surprising, but also sad, because these children still don't understand why non-consensual pranks should not be tolerated on YouTube. Only stage pranks or non-harmful pranks, like, for instance, a nun walking in a park and then she loses her headdress or whatever her habit. And if pranks are fictionalized, there should be a mandatory disclaimer of what you're about to see is a fictionalized prank. All participants in this video consented to these acts and were compensated for these acts. And I know that would break the illusion for a lot of people, but WWF, you know, or WWE, the World Wrestling Federation, a lot of their matches are fictionalized and staged in large part, and there's still a huge audience for that content. So I think that even if pranks are, you know, you have to suspend your disbelief to watch them, you can still make pranks that are acted and still do as well, while not hurting people, which is the most important part of all of this. Don't do shit on YouTube that could hurt or almost hurts other people for your own personal financial gain. That content should not be welcome on YouTube. And there are other ways to make a name for yourself on the internet. So I actually want to go to my audience because I'm done with my area performance. And my God, that young man, the way that he speaks, he's got to learn how to pronounce his THs. That is wrong. Not is wrong. Like I don't understand it. And I don't believe for a second that he thinks he hasn't done anything wrong. Plus, this is what's funny too. In his video response, he says that he's done even worse pranks that YouTube hasn't issued community guideline strikes to, such as a bomb prank. So trust me, I don't think you've seen the end of strikes to your account area. You better start deleting videos now and changing what you do on YouTube, because it's only going to get worse from here on in. The people, the upper management at YouTube aren't stupid. And if they see that you've done one terrible thing that's encouraged terrible behavior that could be imitated by children and for whom the content is primarily destined for minors, they will intervene. And I think you can do better than that. If you're a comedian, be funny. Throw a glass of water at your own face. You know, there's pictures of me on YouTube, or not on YouTube, on Twitter today, where I'm like, I should start the throw water in face challenge or throw water challenge, which is where you take a selfie while throwing a cup of water in your own face. You know why that's funny? Because you still get the reaction of someone getting water thrown in their face, but it's completely consensual because it's you doing it to yourself. So do something like that, Arya. Would you like it if your mother had a glass of water thrown in her face? How about your sister? What about your sick grandfather? No. So why do you think that you are above the law and above moral reproach when you do something that's obviously manipulative and harassing? I mean, not rocket science to me. So going to my audience. So hi, Alden. Hi, Raspergu. And hi, Saif. So Saif says, I just moved out of the borough in London where out of the whole of England, that borough had the most acid attacks in a year compared to other boroughs. That's terrible. I'm sorry that happened to you, Saif. Raspergo says, hey, Davison, there's so much BS on YouTube right now. I agree, but there's always been BS on YouTube. It's just that it hadn't been properly penalized until recently. YouTube, unfortunately, though, as I've said before, is maybe going a little too harsh on people and they're not giving enough warnings. But that said, it's good when they're removing stuff like Logan Paul's Suicide Forest vlog and harmful pranks, because it's not good for the whole platform. It's not good for advertisers' perception of us. It's not good for the public perception of us creators. And it's also not good for the younger generation who are being taught what isn't acceptable in society. And it should never be something that is condoned to hurt or harm people, and it be okay as long as you say it was a prank. It's not okay. It's never okay to do things that are potentially dangerous, even if they're just jokes. Saif says, Davison, sorry to cut it short. I've got to go. I'll be back later this week. No promise, but I hope. Bye. Oh, bye, Saif. Sorry if you weren't here when I addressed you. You'll be able to watch this when I upload it later. So Trevor the Great says, can these pranksters place more offensive videos on a separate website than use YouTube for a platform? Yeah, I guess so. Like LiveLeak. LiveLeak has no rules, but do I think that makes pranks acceptable as a genre? No, I actually think that pranks, for the most part, unless they're really harmless, like replacing someone's, I don't know, dessert with cheese and they think it's sugar, unless that person is allergic to cheese, that probably won't result in any harm. the streeter pranks, I don't know. I just think that they are an unethical genre, and you have to be kind of an antisocial, selfish, egotistical person to produce such content. And I don't agree with it. I don't condone it. Okay, guys. I think I want to stay live, and I was going to talk to you guys a bit more about how I haven't been feeling well. Unfortunately, I have a bit of a cold/flu. It's cold flu season in Canada, but I want to get this reaction out there because I want to show how ItzArya comes off to other people in terms of how I opened this video. And I like to think that I'm a creator that stands for good and intelligence and art and artfulness. And it's unfortunate that not all creators stand for the same things. I mean, YouTube should be a diversity of voices and a diversity of content, but none of that content should involve exploitation in order to increase views or popularity. I think we can all agree with that, right? Toby says you don't put people on YouTube without their consent. Well, actually, the laws vary from country to country. In the United States, if you are in public, someone can film you without your consent because there's no reasonable expectation of privacy in public in the United States. But actually in Quebec, you are not allowed, where I live, Canada, you are not allowed to film people in public without their consent and publish it, especially if they're the focus of the video, because we have different laws protecting individuals and individuals' privacy. I think it's more that throwing a cup of water at someone is assault and at minimum harassment in the eyes of the law. And the English police have already come out and said that ItzArya's prank was illegal and that they were urging victims to come forward. So if it's illegal to do, it definitely is not permissible on YouTube as a platform. Okay, guys, so thank you so much for watching this. I know it's a very brief stream. Who knows? I might be back to stream again because I'm the stream queen and I love you all. Thank you, Trevor the Great, for saying get well soon. I'm trying. It's a bummer because I'm actually editing a video where I donated jackets to the Salvation Army. And I mean, it's so vain, but in the video, I look so tired and I mean, maybe you guys think I look fine, but I'm not at my best, and it depletes me from being as creative, but I'm trying to, push through it. Hopefully pushing through it, though, isn't going to make me sicker, because sometimes I have a tendency to do that. So Mr. Chaos. Oh, so are you here because of ItzArya's video? I was about to wrap this up so you could watch it in post. Oh, goodness gracious. So again, I've said this before. I'm going to repeat myself again for anybody who's new here. Pranks as a genre should not be tolerated on YouTube unless everyone in the video has consented to being part of the prank. Most pranks should be fictionalized, and they should have a disclaimer before the prank that said all participants in this video consented to be a part of this video, and it is in part fiction, as in not real. And anything that's illegal in real life should not be allowed to be uploaded to YouTube. And just because you say something is a joke, that doesn't mean that excuses the wrong that you've done. It's like you can't punch someone in the face and apologize, and that negates the punching. You know what I'm saying? So the same thing applies to a prank. You don't know if that person that you're pranking had a bad day. You don't know if their mother just died. You don't know if they just lost their job. You can make them trip, fall into traffic, and then they're hurt because you threw water at them. It's just a bad idea. It's exploitation, and it's the most selfish act as a creator you can do, to exploit other strangers without their consent for your own personal, financial, and popularity gain. It's immoral. ItzArya is a fake. He's been exposed. Oh yeah, Shai, you were here before. Yeah, I mean, I think he fakes some of the participants, but if anything, that's also not cool that he doesn't disclose the fact that his pranks are staged. That shouldn't be allowed. You shouldn't be allowed to lie and get away with it on YouTube. Hi, Horrid. His videos have been staged. So, okay. So Chaos or Chaos. I don't know how to pronounce your name, Mr. Chaos or Chaos. They make you laugh. Okay, fine. We can laugh at all sorts of things as human beings, but we might not be being terribly kind when we do so. And you can't just think about your selfish need to laugh or your desire to laugh. You have to think about the other people that are involved in the production of whatever you're laughing at and their suffering and their challenges. I know it's harder to imagine or put yourself in other people's shoes when you're younger because you don't fully understand the world yourself yet. But whenever you're watching any piece of media, think about how all of the people in that video are feeling and think about what they are experiencing. And then, for instance, say if it's your sister or your girlfriend or your father that were put in that situation where someone threw water on them and ruined their nice cashmere sweater, would you think that it was as funny? Probably not. So then maybe it's not the type of content that you should be consuming. He's still one of my favorite YouTubers. Well, that's too bad. How old are you, Mr. Cajos? So Big Bub says we all have the right to be selfish. No, I mean, that's immoral. You don't have a right. We all have I would say we all have the inclination to be selfish. We don't have the right, though, to be selfish. That's why we have laws. And that's why we have enforcement and penalties for violating laws in our various countries. Mr. Cass says you sound like a teacher. Well, I mean, I'm probably the age of your teacher. And yes, I guess I am a political pundit, meaning I always voice my opinions publicly. And, you know, I encourage discussions and I try to do so intelligently. So that's probably why I sound like a teacher. My perspective on this is obviously different than yours, Mr. Kaus. And I hope I opened your eyes because you have to start thinking about other people when you're consuming media and not just about your own pleasure. Do you understand what I'm saying? So Davison, you're a YouTube teacher. Exactly. Used to be your favorite MILF, and now I'm YouTube's teacher as I progressively get older. So Toby said, when I go out, I agree I'm in public. So Toby says, when I go out, I agree I'm in public with 100 people I'll meet by walking on the street, but not to millions of people forever online. Well, yes, that's why you could basically file a privacy violation takedown on YouTube if you felt that a video of you was uploaded without your consent onto YouTube. They have a form for that. Okay, guys, this has been enjoyable. Thank you, Mr. Kaus, for coming and offering, your counterpoints to what I was saying. I appreciate dissenting views or contrary views to what I'm discussing. And peace to you all. And if you're making videos, guys, try to make your videos about doing good or create fiction that is about terrible things, and don't base it on reality, because that means other people are suffering for your own personal benefit, which is like never okay. So I will see you later. I'll be live later. Bye.